You know we can never have one another. Every one is against it. Why should I make you miserable? Try not to think of me any more." "And will you try the same of me, Lorna?" "Oh yes, John, if you agree to it. At least, I will try it." "Then you won't try anything of the sort," I cried, with great enthusiasm, for her tone was so nice and melancholy. "The only thing we will try is to belong to one another; and if we do our best, Lorna, God alone can prevent us." She crossed herself, with one hand drawn free as I spoke so boldly, and something swelled in her little throat, and prevented her from answering. "Now tell me," I said, "what means all this? Why are you so pent up here? Why have you given me no token? Has your grandfather turned against you? Are you in any danger?" "My poor grandfather is very ill. I fear that he will not live long. The Counsellor and his son are now the masters of the valley, and I dare not venture forth, for fear of anything they might do to me. When I went forth to signal for you, Carver tried to seize me, but I was too quick for him. Little Gwenny is not allowed to leave the valley now, so that I could send no message. I have been so wretched, dear, lest you should think me false to you. The tyrants now make sure of me. You must watch this house, both night and day, if you wish to save me. There is nothing they would shrink from. If my poor grandfather Oh, I cannot bear to think of myself, when I ought to think of him only, dying without a son to tend him, or a daughter to shed a tear." "But surely he has sons enough, and a deal too many," I was going to say, but stopped myself in time. "Why do none of them come to him?" "I know not. I cannot tell. He is a very strange old man, and few have ever loved him. He was black with wrath at the Counsellor this very afternoon. But I must not keep you here. You are much too brave, John, and I am much too selfish. There, what was that shadow?" "Nothing more than a bat, darling, come to look for his sweetheart. I will not stay long, you tremble so; and yet for that very reason, how can I leave you, Lorna?" You must," she answered. "I shall die if they hurt you. I hear the old nurse moving. Grandfather is sure to send for me. Keep back from the window." However, it was only Gwenny Carfax, Lorna's little handmaid. My darling brought her to the window, and presented her to me, almost laughing through her grief. "Oh, I am so glad, John. Gwenny, I am so glad you came. I have wanted long to introduce you to my 'young man,' as you call him. It is rather dark, but you can see him. I wish you to know him again, Gwenny." "Whoy!" cried Gwenny, with great amazement, standing on tiptoe to look out, and staring as if she were weighing me. "Her be bigger nor any Doone. Heerd as her have bate our Cornish champion a wrastling. 'Twadn't fair play nohow. No, don't tell me. 'Twadn't fair play nohow." "True enough, Gwenny," I answered her, for the play had been very unfair indeed on the side of the Bodmin champion. "It was not a fair bout, little maid. I am free to acknowledge that." By that answer, or rather by the construction she put upon it, the heart of the Cornish girl was won, more than by gold or silver. "I shall knew thee again, young man, no fear of that," she answered, nodding with an air of patronage. "Now, missus, gae on courtin', and I will gae outside and watch for 'ee." Though expressed not over delicately, this proposal arose, no doubt, from Gwenny's sense of delicacy, and I was very thankful to her for taking her departure. "She is the best little thing in the world," said Lorna, softly laughing, "and the queerest and the truest. Nothing will bribe her against me. If she seems to be on the other side, never, never doubt her. Now, no more of your courtin', John. I love you far too well for that. Yes, ever so much. If you will, take a mean advantage of me, and as much as ever you like to imagine, and then you may double it after that. Only go, do go, good John, kind, dear, darling John, if you love me, go." "How can I go without settling anything?" I asked, very sensibly. "How shall I know of your danger now? Hit upon something, you are so quick; anything you can think of, and then I will go, and not frighten you." "I have been thinking long of something," Lorna answered rapidly, with that peculiar clearness of voice which makes every syllable ring like music of a several note. "You see that tree with the 7 rooks' nest bright against the cliffs there? Can you count them from above, do you think? From a place where you will be safe, dear?" "No doubt I can; or if I cannot, it will not take me long to find a spot whence I can do it." "Gwenny can climb like any cat. She has been up there in the summer, watching the young birds day by day, and daring the boys to touch them. There are neither birds nor eggs there now, of course, and nothing doing. If you see but 6 rooks' nests, I am in peril, and want you. If you see but 5, I am carried off by Carver." "Good God!" said I, at the mere idea, in a tone which frightened Lorna. "Fear not, John," she whispered sadly, and my blood grew cold at it. "I have means to stop him, or at least to save myself. If you can come within one day of that man's getting hold of me, you will find me quite unharmed. After that you will find me dead, or alive, according to circumstances, but in no case such that you need blush to look at me." Her dear sweet face was full of pride, as even in the gloom I saw, and I would not trespass on her feelings by such a thing, at such a moment, as an attempt at any caress. I only said, "God bless you, darling," and she said the same to me in a very low, sad voice. And then I stole below Carver's house, in the shadow from the eastern cliff, and knowing enough of the village now to satisfy all necessity, betook myself to my well known track in returning from the valley, which was neither down the waterslide, a course I feared in the darkness, nor up the cliffs at Lorna's bower, but a way of my own inventing, which there is no need to dwell upon. A weight of care was off my mind, though much of trouble hung there still. One thing was quite certain: if Lorna could not have John Ridd, no one else should have her. And my mother, who sat up for me and with me a long time afterwards, agreed that this was comfort. End of chapter 37. Read by Landy in Sydney, Australia, September 2008.